Finally, after all this time, my Blaux portable AC finally arrived. And it's not even the one I ordered. Great. Hey guys, how are you all doing? Really? That's just great. You know, I'm doing pretty great today too. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Crazy Ken, and I've been following a company named Strong Current Enterprises Limited for the past couple of months. Ever since these air conditioner ads caught my attention, I've been keeping an eye on these guys. And if you haven't seen the first parts of this amazing journey, I recommend checking those out first. In summary, these Blaux ads claimed that this thing was a revolution to the aircon industry. So ever since I started doing the episodes about this product, let's just say those ads have been taken care of. I haven't seen many of them lately. In the end, it's just a tiny swamp cooler. It's not an air conditioner by any reasonable consumer standard. So, now here we are. The product finally arrived, but it's not the one I ordered. It looks a little bit different. I can't really complain though, because I think it actually looks a little bit better than the one I thought I ordered. But we'll take a look at that more soon. And we'll also see, hey, is it worth the near $100 they charge for it? But before we dive into all of that and my tests, here's a little update on the communications I've received from the company. To start, Paula reached back out to me and said I have turned them into avid followers of my vlog. Ah, shucks, you flatter me. But in regards to my past questions, when I asked about who manufactures their product, they couldn't disclose that information. Alrighty then. Then I got another email from the Strong Current legal team. They heard that I received my product and asked how it's been. Well, I'm glad you asked. For all intents and purposes, let's just pretend the past stuff didn't happen. It's not a magical device. It's just a tiny swamp cooler. So, how well does this thing actually work? And is it worth the $100? Let's dive in. So this product is called the Blaux Classic Desktop AC, I guess. It does look different than the unit on the website, and it goes by a different name. And don't be fooled by the shininess, it's not metal, just plastic. There's adjustable vents on the front along with a power knob, and there's a built-in blue mood light. On the inside, we have the water curtain and the ice tray. This was another thing that confused me because I don't remember an ice tray being a feature of this product. In fact, on the website, they just show someone pouring water into the top of the device, and that's it. But this one works completely differently. I don't know. For this particular model, according to the instructions, you have to soak the water curtain in water and freeze the filled ice tray. At least you get 2 ice trays, so you can freeze the second one while the first one is in use. I found this to be kind of cumbersome because now you have to transport wet things and dripping things in and out of the unit, and it's just not very convenient, especially if you have it on like a wooden desk that you're working on and now you're gonna drip water all over it. I don't know. Kind of a bad design, but you get what you pay for, I guess? No, actually you don't. You don't. When you pay almost $100, you should have something that's better and less cumbersome than that. Oh, somebody help me. Inside, there's a small fan, which, let's be real guys, this doesn't look like it'll be able to push much air. But one thing I couldn't find, no matter how hard I looked in this thing, was a pump. Now, I'm not sure if the original one I ordered was supposed to have a pump anyway, and I can't confirm anything about that because they didn't send me that one. But my bigger swamp cooler has a pump in it, which will take water from the tank, drip it over the water curtain, and that's how the water drips down and evaporates. Like, it's an evaporative cooler, that's what they're supposed to do. But if there's no pump in here, how does the water, when it gets down in the tank, go back up to the water curtain and drip down and evaporate and cool? Like, if there's no pump in there, I don't really understand how it's an effective air cooler at all. Well, when I tested it out, it all made sense. It really isn't effective whatsoever. So, I ran it through some tests. Let's see how well it did. So I hijacked, borrowed somebody's room for the test site. It's a 12 by 13 room with an 8-foot ceiling. Now keep in mind, I was originally gonna test this thing with summer conditions, but because it took so long to arrive, summer is over. So I had to artificially simulate a hot environment. I did the best I could. I cranked the electric baseboard heater to 80 degrees, the highest it would go, and I monitored the temperature. According to my thermometer, the room temperature maxed out at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. But before I could test the Blaux, I needed a control. So I let the room cool and I timed the temperature decrease. 8 minutes in, and the room felt about the same, and the thermometer read the same temperature. 32 minutes in, the room definitely felt cooler to me, and the thermometer read 80. 64 minutes in, the room didn't feel any cooler and the thermometer still read 80, so I imagined this is where it's tapering off. So in short, we could say the room cooled about 2 degrees in 1 hour naturally without this thing running. But now we're going to turn this thing on and see how well it cools the room. After reheating the room to 82 degrees, I placed the Blaux on the opposite end of the room, which is furthest away from the thermometer, just to test the room temperature as best as I could. I inserted the soaked water curtain and ice tray, then I cranked it to full power and waited. Now the box says rapid cooling in just 30 seconds. So that's why I kind of just arbitrarily chose 8 minutes as my first checkpoint. But honestly, while I was running this, I didn't feel anything different 8 minutes in. In fact, as I kept going through the checkpoints, the thermometer read the same temperatures as it did in the control when I just let the room cool naturally by itself. So, in effect, this wasn't doing anything to cool the room. I placed my hand in front of the unit and the air felt a few degrees cooler than the room temperature, but when I held my hand about 3 feet away, I couldn't feel the breeze at all. But honestly, what else do you expect from a tiny ass fan? I mean, this fan's smaller than some fans I see in computers. It's not going to push much air, especially at the speed it's running at. It's not that loud, which is kind of nice, but that also means it's not really spinning that fast. About 64 minutes in, I noticed no difference. Again, it was the same as the control, and the ice had already completely melted on the inside. So I imagined it's not going to do much more cooling than it already has done. And I felt nothing different. You know, I set really low expectations for this thing, and frankly, I'm still disappointed. It's worse than I thought. So now let's simulate an environment where you use it closer to your body. We're not going to try to cool a whole room. We're just going to try to cool a little bit of space in front of you. Maybe if you use it on a desk or something. So I didn't change anything for this next experiment. I just moved the thermometer about 1 inch away from the vents just to try to, give it a little bit of a head start. 1 inch, it should be able to handle that. Within 8 minutes of cooling, the thermometer dropped from 79 degrees to 70, so it's able to cool quickly at short distances, but again, you're not going to feel the breeze from more than 2 to 3 feet away. So if you're lying in bed and you use it on your nightstand, you're not going to feel it unless you lay close to it. Then it might do something. Or if you put it on your desk, like if it's about this far away, you'll probably feel it, so that's probably not a huge problem. But other than that, you're not going to be able to cool a room with this thing. Which is a pretty big contrast to that bold statement they claimed in that one ad. Now granted, they took the ad down, so I'll give you points for that, but still, wow, what a load of BS. Another problem with this thing is overflowing. I know it says do not overfill, but hey, this is Crazy Ken. We have to push the boundaries a little bit here. Big mistake. So I put the ice in there, I ran it, but then I put another frozen ice tray in there and ran it, and yeah, a few minutes in, the tank was overflowing and it was leaking all over the table. I'm just glad I checked frequently because the water was about to drip off the edge of the surface. So if it can't handle 2 ice trays, because the tray is so small, that means you have to empty out the tray every time you want to use it. Kind of silly. So aside from waiting 2 months to receive it, and by the time I did receive it, it was the wrong one, is it worth it? No, of course not. Yes, it can cool the air a little bit, but past about 3 feet, you're not going to feel much, and it's definitely not going to cool a room. Plus, the ice melts every hour, so you have to refill and refreeze the thing every hour, and if you do it wrong, it's going to overflow and leak, and it's just kind of cumbersome to have to do that every hour just to get a slight cool breeze. So, is it worth that 89 bucks plus tax? No way. And that's with the so-called discount. It's actually valued at $135. Yeah. This thing is valued at $135. Makes no sense. And the 4-pack is valued at $553. You can get almost 2 full-size window units, 10,000 BTU window air conditioners for that price. There's no way these things are worth that much. That's really fishy. That's it. What else can I say? Just be wary of buying stuff online. Don't overpay for this stuff. Be cautious of fake reviews and fake ads. Just think twice before you buy. And I'm not saying dismiss everything. There's some good legitimate stuff out there. Just think a little bit more before you press that buy button. And also, I encourage you to stick around because the Computer Clan is going to be cranking out some more good tech stuff in the coming weeks, as we always do. New tech, vintage tech, and of course, knockoff tech. Yeah, I bought this watch. It's just called Watch, I guess. It's an Apple Watch knockoff, and I cannot wait to see how well that works. So anyway, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that awesome stuff. And if you'd like to support the channel, plus get some awesome perks, feel free to check out our Patreon with the link in the description. And if you'd like, go ahead and pledge. Thank you for your support. If you like this episode, you know what to do. Thanks for sticking with me, catch the crazy, and pass it on.